welcome everyone to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we thank you for checking with us here on this first Tuesday of the month of January. We thank you so much for joining us here, and we're excited to be starting off in a brand new year, 2022. Thought I'd put the shades on and start the year off right. But if we really want to start off right, we always have to bring in the most beautiful woman in the world in terms of sports talk radio and, of course, sports talk TV. And I'm talking about the one and only Miss Tree Dolman is in the building. Welcome, welcome, and welcome.
Hey, Happy
What's
New Year.
Happy New Year to you. So, how are you? How was your weekend? All that kind of good stuff as the new year has now started for real.
It's been pretty awesome just watching a lot of church services. I started the Daniel fast yesterday, and I've been working hard on my businesses as well as watching sports. How has your weekend and New Year been so far?
So weekend was good. I did in fact go to church. I just moved to another location. I moved to East Point, and so there is a church right up the road, and they also are involved with a fast. They said you have your choice. You can do a Daniel fast. You can fast from various habits and things that you have, and we're trying to do the best we can with all of those. But yeah, it's a great way to start the year, trying to get your spiritual sensibilities back to where they should be. And I'm sure, like many other people watching this broadcast, they're trying to do the same. Start the year off from the inside out. Because the inside is right, the outside will be right as well.
Right. Go like this.
Uh oh,
Other side.
is it
No.
gone?
Lip.
Uh,
Lip. There you go. You got it. Now,
Oh, is he gone? Back?
well, no, I think it's on that side. Now you
Uh
moved
oh.
it on this side. Yeah.
All right. Well,
It's
let's do this. Let's get the champion, Tyrone Poole. We'll try to get that situated. He is a two-time Super Bowl champion, also a member of the Fort Valley Sports Hall of Fame. Number 38 on your list of your program, but number one in our hearts, the one and only Tyrone Poole is in the building. What's going on, sir?
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Hello, Minister. Hello, Tree. All those listening and watching. Hope you had a great New Year and it's off to a phenomenal start, should I say.
Yes, it is. We're going to have to rely on our happy people here on YouTube to do some housekeeping. If not, I will do it after the program. Unfortunately, we, as always, get some spam. So we have someone that has spammed us here multiple times in the comments. I don't know who you are, folks, but please get off our page. We're not going to show you on screen. We're not going to show your comments. And we're not going to have anybody go to your website or to your YouTube page. So I'm going to ask you here, whoever this is, please stop spamming me or we're going to get the YouTube police on you. I'm just saying. Okay. Wait, Tyrone, I asked Tree, how was her weekend? How was your start and weekend? I should say, how was your weekend? How's your start to 2022, sir?
Oh, my start is phenomenal. Started off with a bang, and I'm in the race to my finish line called 2022, December the 31st. So I came out the blocks pretty good. So now it's just about maintaining through the rest of the curve and then bring it home in the back straight and cross that line with my hands raised high in the air, December 31st, 2022.
I like all that, sir. And like we talked about, it's always good to kind of start off the year well, because usually not all the time, but a lot of times that's an indicator that the rest of the year will do well as well. So excited that everybody has got a good start to the year. I thankfully also dodged the COVID bullet. As I think I told you guys, I went to a couple of events where people tested positive for COVID. And then a friend of mine, we actually went to go get a test. She actually was negative, and then she still had symptoms and took the test again, found she was positive. But thankfully, Mr. Simmons was negative on both his tests. So um, I think that might be a warning for me to kind of stay low for a minute. I might have to go to the tree method and be like, okay, now you see me and now you don't. Okay, 'cause, I mean, but again, we just thank the Lord for it. We also thank the Lord for those people who have had the COVID, and that it does appear that thankfully, at least so far, it has not been as serious to people, their health, as it was the first time. So thankfully and prayerfully, everyone I know that has caught it is in the road to recovery, and only one person, and I don't know them well, they actually were on our station, WIGO, had to go to the hospital. So again, our prayers, everybody be out there, be safe, keep your mask on. I don't care if you quadruple vaxxed. As you can see, vaccinated people are getting it as fast as furious as people are unvaccinated. So take care of yourself, be safe, and don't do nothing stupid out there. I'm just saying. All right, guys. It's we got a lot of stuff happening that's coming up this next week. We also have some stuff to happen over the weekend. So we're going to talk some pro football, how our Falcons do. They now are officially out of the playoffs. They're officially out, and we'll talk to D-Led about that. Also going to bring in our good friend Brian Jones, who covered the Green Bay Packers for years and years, to talk about the Packers. Are they the it team this year? Also want to talk about our Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young, a phenomenal performance last night, but all for naught as the Hawks go down again. And I want to ask you guys what you think is wrong with this team and what they can do to correct it. And, of course, we got to talk about your picks for the college football championship, Alabama or Auburn. Oh, Lord have mercy. Alabama or University of Georgia. I know I got Auburn in my mind. But anyway, Alabama and University of Georgia, who you guys think will win that matchup? And then I don't know what you guys thought, but kind of the hot topic that popped up for me is kind of what happened over the weekend in the NFL. We evidently had a meltdown with Antonio Brown leaving the field. So before we get into the NFL, I'm going to throw it out there as our hot topic. What did you guys think about that? Did you see it? Have you saw any clips of it? Tyrone, I think I'm going to go to you first since you played the game and you had to guard diva receivers most of your tenure in the league.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say this first and foremost. I want everybody to know that most of everybody, you can go and look at the percentages yourself, the CDC. There are a lot of people that suffer, and I'm going to go ahead and call it, some mental health issues. And, emotionally, there are a lot of people that don't know how to handle themselves when stress get put on. Racism to me is a mental health issue. But when someone such as a person in the limelight acts out, you don't want to see nobody go through anything, but it should bring awareness that there are a whole lot of people suffering and lashing out and doing things. I was just listening to TD Jakes. He was on a show talking about mental health, and one thing that he did say that I really, really, really can agree with, and here's a lot of things he said that I can agree with, but sometimes the people who are in the limelight the most don't have the people that they feel like they can trust the most to vent to say what's going on, because the more you're in the limelight, the more people want to write about you, the more what you say get quoted. So you can't just go and tell somebody, hey, man, I'm dealing with this. Tom Brady was helping, AB, Antonio Brown, and the whole team. But at the end of the day, if I'm Antonio Brown, I'm like, how much can I tell Tom that Tom may go back and tell the coach? So how much can he really help me? Yeah. So my thing is, you don't want to see nobody go through anything, but I think it's a lot of people out there that have, some type of disorder, whether it's anxiety or maybe some type of personality disorder, eating disorders, substance abuse disorder. So there's a lot of mental things out there, and this situation here, it's on a high level of playing field, and I hate to see that he did it like that, because it's always going to be some backlash from it. But I do think that there's a situation there that really needs to be attended to, not just with Antonio Brown, but just with everybody. I'm pretty sure a lot of people listening, they're probably saying, man, look at here, who can I go to? It's kind of like the song, who can I run to when I need? So who can you run to, man, for real? Who can you run to? Seriously. That's a song. It was a little,
Oh, because I was a little, sometimes I kind of fade in and fade out. Okay, I got you.
Who can you run to when you need love? That's what they say.
I need to sing that song. Anyway, let me get to Ms. Tolman. What do you think about Antonio Brown? Did you see it, and what are your thoughts?
Bad. I also think that it was quite outlandish, and he's acted out numerous times, and you definitely can tell that something is going on there, and that he does have some mental issues. And then when I listened to Tom Brady and his response, because Tom knew him well and he tried to help him. And then there were other hosts that at one point he lived with them at one point in time when they were teammates, and different things that they've done to help him. And you can just tell that they really care about him. And you can tell that there's definitely something deep that's going on that has nothing to do with football. But I just really hope that he can get the help that he does need, because it's obvious that he does need help. And right now, it just seems like he's crying out for help. And so because he's crying out for help, I hope that the people that are around him and in his circle can just pour love and support on him and help him get the help that he needs. But of course, he has to want it. You can't force help upon somebody. They have to want it in order to receive it.
You know, Tree, you just said something that's very important that I was going to mention as well, that with anything, you have to want the help. That's why I love the parable, the prodigal son, or the prodigal daughter. It don't really matter. Until you come to yourself. And here's the thing too, mental health can be helped. You can help yourself, so to speak. You know, the brain can help itself, should I say. You should never be your own doctor, but the brain can help itself. And how does it help itself? By you changing your mind, you know, putting yourself in a different environment. But until the prodigal son came to himself, he had to go through all that stuff that he didn't have to go through, you know. And once he came to himself and said, man, I'm better than this, that's when the change happened.
Yeah, no doubt. So, yeah, to me, he has not been the same player since he got that ferocious. If you remember, I think the linebacker Burtick for Cincinnati, he's been fined a gazillion times. And if you ever guys get a chance to Google that, you literally thought that the man died on the field. I mean, it was one of the most vicious hits I've seen since the old clips of Jack Tatum when he used to play for Oakland. I mean, literally, it was the perfect storm. You know, he was running a crossing route, and Burdick was right in that zone, and Tyrone, that's that killer zone, and that's what happened. And literally, I don't think he's been the same since that hit. And kind of took a couple of hits. He took one here with Deion Jones as a big hit, and took a couple of hits in the Super Bowl and a year after. And to me, it has caused some type of mental disruption in those guys. And I think that really somebody should really kind of do an examination. I'm not saying Cam's acting out, but it's just, to me, both of those guys don't look the same after those hits that they've taken on the field. So, yeah, my hope and prayer is that something can happen with Antonio Brown. You know, clearly he's got some demons he's battling. We're all, have our own things that we're dealing with, but there's something seriously going on when you think about the opportunities he's basically blew up, the money that he's, kind of basically just blew up, which is not just for his own sake, but the guy's got family. And when you just, set on fire, $1 million here, $2 million here, $3 million here, it doesn't allow you to really be even to bless your family as well as yourself. So again, we hope and pray that he does get some help. Let's go here real quick to Todd. And let's get his comments here. He's saying, preacher, I got thrown under the bus for throwing shade every week. LOL, but time for facts. Got a question for the game. Okay, here's what we have to do. We got to take a quick little break because we're going to try to stay on point as we go into the new year. You guys are watching, listening, and replaying the Real Talk Sports Show. But don't go anywhere because we'll be back with more on the Real Talk Sports Show. Hang tight. Don't go anywhere, please. Thank you.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
All right, we're back to the Real Talk Sports Show. Next to me, the team is Tree Dolman, and right underneath the Super Bowl champion, Mr. Tyrone Poole. Let's go to Todd. Comments real quick for his question, and then we will be inviting on a little guest to join us here. Let's go here to Todd. Todd's question is, when was the last time our Atlanta Falcons had a record over 500 at any point in a season? Todd, a little early to be talking football right now, but I think the last time was 2018. The last time they had a winning season, Tyrone, if I'm not mistaken, when they went to the playoffs after the Super Bowl fiasco. I think that was it. All right, we're going to shift gears here. You guys know that we always try to bring people that are doing good things in the world of sports, both on and off the field. I have a young man here that has been doing this for a while. He has a semi-pro basketball team. His team has constantly throughout the years hosted nonprofit events to benefit back to school children, Thanksgiving. Well, I'm gonna bring him on right now and have him introduce himself to everybody. Mr. Gerald Sharon from our
Hey, how
own.
you doing? Thank you for having me on today.
Tell us who you are and what you got going on in the next couple of weeks.
Well, okay, my name is Jarrell Sharon. I'm the owner of the Georgia Spartans. We're a men's semi-pro basketball team that's heavily involved in the community. We have an MLK Classic that we're doing on January 15th at Exchange Park at 2771 Columbia Drive. It's from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. We're going to have basketball game, performances, give backs, and we're also giving free school supplies away. And then, of course, we're going to do our Art in the Park, which is January 29th at Exchange Park also. It's a free admission. We're doing free art showcasing, wine tasting, live music, and free performances.
Well, Daryl, it always seems like you've had a heart for the community. What kind of really got you started with saying, hey, look, even though I have this team, because it's tough enough trying to own a team, and then to say we're going to try to give proceeds and have fundraisers to give back to the community? Kind of what was your why behind that?
My why is pretty much I got to give back to the community because the community helps us by actually coming to our game, supporting our team. So basically giving back is just a portion of what we got to do on earth. It's basically got to teach one to learn each other's weakness and strength. So me giving back and showing kids that we can own a team and also give back to the community at the same time is a great motion to go ahead and help the community and show them that Black men are doing things in the community.
I'm gonna go to my panel here, Tyrone. You were very involved. What do you think about some of the things that Gerald mentioned that he's doing with his basketball team?
Yeah, it's always good to have someone to help in the community. I feel like we're all doors that we have the key and the access to help someone get to the next level. And it's good to see that Gerald is doing that. So continue to keep the doors open and continue to help build champions locally and globally.
Tree, what do you think? I know you are a big a person like Tyrone as far as being involved in the community. What do you think about what Gerald has been doing there? And he's actually has to leave us now. But how cool is the guy's actually an owner of a team and still putting this effort out to have, them giving back to the community that they try to serve?
I think that it's really phenomenal what Gerald does. It's nice to put a face with the name because I definitely follow them on social media and they've reached out for many years. And so I see that they're constantly doing things in the community, and it's not just 1 or 2 or 3 things that they do a year. They're constantly doing events to give back to the community, and it's just really phenomenal. So kudos and just keep up the great work. If a lot of the things were in closer approximation, I would attend more of them, but I am always telling people about what they're doing and just always wishing them well because they do a lot of great work for the community.
Thank you.
Well, Joe, one more time, tell us kind of some of the people that are going to be there along with your team. I think you said, if I'm not mistaken, you got some music, you got some artists, you got some DJs. Kind of give us a roster real quick, and then, of course, tell us date, time, and place.
Okay. So the first game for MLK is going to be Exchange Park, January 15th from 2 to 5. We're going to have about 3 or 4 youth dance teams going to come out and perform for us for free. And also we're going to have Desmond Champion. He's going to perform also the national anthem. And then January 29th, we're going to just have some local artists come out and perform. We're going to have Bel Air doing free wine tasting. So make sure you come out and get some free wine and great music and enjoy the vibe. And of course, this is going to be a mass event, of course, and temperature checks going to be done at the door.
Okay, so if I heard that correctly, you actually, if people want to get tested, they can get tested right there at the facility.
Yes, we are. We're going to have testing right at the facility, yes.
All right, man. Well, as always, trying to keep people safe. We appreciate you, man. Appreciate all the stuff you've done and appreciate all the stuff that you are doing. And again, give people the website one more time and social media where they can follow you.
Okay, it's gaspartans.com and Georgia Spartans is our IG and all our social media handles.
But I get too much better than that, man. We're going to try to see if we can get out there. I was telling my 2 co-hosts beforehand, I've had some close brushes with COVID, so I might have to kind of do some kind of virtual thing. I might have to get you on camera like we're doing now But
Okay.
again, man, we appreciate what you're doing, and we appreciate that this is not like your first rodeo. You've been consistently over the years giving back to the community, man. So even if we can't come, we'll do everything we can to at least kind of throw you guys a donation to try to support what you're doing, man. Because we want to keep encouraging you because you've had big impact, especially those back to school things, man. I mean, I've actually covered a couple of those, and it's incredible the turnout and the reaction from the kids and the parents. That's the other thing from the parents when they get those bags, so they don't have to go out and spend their hard-earned money. So again, man, kudos to you, and we look forward to having you back on with us again soon.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right, Gerald.
Yeah, your tree hit on the head. I mean, he's been doing it for a while, and he said he's an owner of the team, but he's always said that his main thing is he wants to give back every year. And as also as you mentioned, they don't do it just once a year, once every couple of years. They do that. They have fundraisers like 3-4 times a year. So, my hats off to him and the good stuff that he is doing. Well, again, we talked already about Antonio Brown, the NFL, and what's going on. But before we get back to the NFL, I got to get from you guys. College football championships. It's the lead match. The Alabama Crimson Tide, now, of course, the number one team in the nation since they knocked off Georgia in the SEC championship, against the University of Georgia Bulldogs, looking for some payback. All right, Treatis, I'm going to go to you first. Who do you like in this game and why? The Bulldogs or the Crimson Tide?
So it's funny because I pick the Crimson Tide, right? Because they show that it doesn't matter what coaches throw at them. It doesn't matter what assistants that used to coach for him he plays against. He's going to outcoach everybody. He's just a great coach. But then at the same token, when you look at Georgia knows that they do not get the respect. And they know what everybody is saying about them, about how they cannot beat Alabama. And I also feel that that's the reason that they came out against Michigan and played the way that they did, because the number one goal that they have is to get back to this matchup, which they now are at, to come and show and prove to the world that they can beat Alabama. The only thing is, even though they have a great defense and they have great tools and they have a great team this year, I can't take that away. But I still just think that Alabama is their kryptonite, and so I'm picking Alabama Crimson Tide.
Wow. Tyrone, how about you? Who do you like and why? The Bulldogs or the Crimson Tide?
Really don't matter to me, be honest with you. I just call a spade, don't really matter to me. But if I had to pick one, I'll go with Alabama. But, just for the simple fact, you got I always just believe that the teacher is never, the student is never as good as the teacher. And the teacher always got something up the sleeve. And when Georgia played against Michigan, I said if that quarterback from Michigan doesn't step his game up, it'll be a long day. And, I figured Georgia, they were going to come in, they're going to shut down the run. If I'm a coach, that's what I'm going to do. Whatever you do best, I'm taking it away. With Alabama, you got a coach that he is good at making adjustments. He's going to make adjustments. He's going to study. And the other thing is they both run pretty much the same defense, the same style defense. Yes, Bennett stepped up and played big. But again, you're going against a coach who may be a little bit smarter than Harbaugh or his coaching staff. And he might not necessarily be smarter than Harbaugh, but the coaching staff may be a little bit better. I even think he has an NFL coach as his offensive coordinator, Nick Saban, O'Brien. So again, that's a lot of wisdom, in that room. And college guys are easy to get pumped up. And yes, it's going to be a lot of momentum when that ball get kicked off. It's almost like a boxing match. You don't want to come out with all your energy in the first round, because it's a 12-round bout. So you just got to pick and choose your shots. And I think, Nick Saban is pretty good at that. But I think it's going to be a pretty good game. At least I hope it does.
I think it will be as well. Well, listen, before I make my comments about that, we have a guest that you guys are all familiar with, our man, featured sports writer at popculture.com. He's back, Mr. Brian L. Jones. Brian, what's up, buddy?
Not too much. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
All right.
All right, how you doing, Brian?
Good. I'm glad to be back.
Brian, first of all, before I ask you about Alabama and University of Georgia, I want to give you congratulations because I noticed now, sir, on your Twitter profile, you got that blue dot, meaning you are certified with Twitter. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Congratulations,
I
kind
appreciate
sir.
that. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was something that we've all at popculture.com are working on to get all of us verified. Really, this started when I was with 24/7 Sports, so it really just came out of nowhere. It's something that you got to apply for, and Twitter's kind of inconsistent when it comes to that. So it was a nice surprise. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Well, again, congratulations. You are now officially certified with Twitter. Well, listen, one thing that we know you're certified is that you know a lot about football, and obviously we're going to talk to you about your Packers in just a little bit. But what's your take on the game, Georgia versus Alabama? Who you like and why?
It's tough. I think these are clearly the two best teams in all of college football, and I lean towards Georgia, and the reason is even though Alabama has the edge when it comes to quarterback and head coach, which are two very important positions. I think the biggest challenge for Alabama is facing Georgia again in a 1 month span. And I think when you face the team again in that short amount of period of time, I think it's not going to be the same outcome as it was the first time around. I think Georgia and Alabama's great at making adjustments, and they will make in-game adjustments during the game. But I think Georgia will do a lot of things differently to where they'll put Stetson Bennett in the right position to make plays. I think if they can just be more aggressive and throw on running downs and then run on passing downs, kind of switch things up, I think Georgia will have a chance to win. I think this will be a competitive game. I think we'll go back and forth. And this, I think, even though for Georgia it might be a mental block when it comes to trying to beat Alabama, because Alabama's undefeated against Georgia in neutral places the last 5 years, I think this is the time where, Georgia will show everything they have, everything they played for the entire year. I think defense will play much better than they did in the SEC title game because, again, that was the best team Georgia's faced all year. And I think when they get beat, one of the things with Kirby Smart throughout his entire career is he's had some bad losses, but Georgia has been always able to bounce back. And I think they'll do in the national championship game. I think it will be a very competitive game. I think it will be something that will be decided whoever has the ball last. But I think when it's all said and done, Georgia will win this first national championship since 1980.
Well, Brian, I agree with you, and I done put my money up. I have put up a bet with my boss, the owner of Allen Vigil Ford. We put some big money up. We put up $2 on the game. So I'm looking for, I gave him Georgia and 3.5 points since Alabama was a 3-point favorite. I'm looking for Georgia to win the game by 4. I think the biggest thing that Georgia had learned in the Michigan game is that they need to basically play Georgia football. And you utilize all the weapons they have, especially those running backs come out of the backfield like Cook on those wheel routes. You get those guys out in the open space. They're a tough load to handle. And it's almost kind of like you're trying to do almost an extended run. And that's really going to be the key for me in that game. I mean, Georgia's defense can step up, but they have to do two things. They have to keep the ball away from Alabama. Again, utilizing the run game, short passes, getting those guys in the open space. And 2, be able to get long, sustained drives so you really don't put the ball in the hands of Bryce Young too much because the guy's a Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, and both Georgia and Auburn put extreme pressure on him at various points in their games. But when it absolutely had to make a play, the Heisman Trophy winner made a play. So I'm like, hey, man, keep the ball out of his hands as much as you can. And that means you're going to have to control the ball on the ground, short passes, and then look for the opportunities to get Alabama deep because like Georgia, they can be beaten on the downfield plays. So I'm picking Georgia to win by 4 points. And like you said, Brian, to win their first national title. So we got 2 Alabama and 2 Georgia. Tyrone say really doesn't care, but I think he might be leaning a little bit towards the Crimson Tide. So 2 Crimson Tide and 2 of the Georgia Bulldogs, and we'll find out. Okay, let's go to social media here. Our man Todd asked the question, Georgia, if they lose this game, Kirby needs to just leave the program. All the pressure on Georgia, because if not now, when? All right.
No, he shouldn't. He's still a great coach, and they're still a great program. You don't leave if you can't beat one team. I mean, they just won conference. who leaves when they're winning?
Once again, Tyrone, you see Todd, I make put my shades on because immediately he's looking to try to get Kirby fired right off the rip. I will
Let me
say
say
there's going to
this.
be a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
It's gonna
Tyrone.
be definitely a lot of pressure. I say this. One thing that I like about Alabama, I like about Nick Saban. He showed that he studies film. Their coaching staff study film, and they have a mentality that we don't care. We are lions. We're going to come out. This is what we're going to do. And anybody who saw that game saw that Alabama ran the ball. Maybe other teams would have come out, hey, we're going to run, and then we're going to throw. We're going to run. No, Nick Saban said, you know what? You guys are not better than us. We're going to show you that you're not better than us. We're going to pound this ball down your throat. So by doing that, Georgia gets that film too. Remember, Georgia gets that film too. Now, whereas Alabama couldn't really run the ball last time they played, now they have to take notice. Wow, maybe these guys have gotten better in the running game. So now you have to account for that as the defensive coordinator for Georgia. Okay, so it's going to be, I think, the intangibles. It's going to come down to who can make the right plays, who can set up the best formations to catch the other team in a weak spot, who can make the shifts to catch the offense or defense in a down position. That's what it's going to come down to. That's what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to the coaching, the intangibles. Put your players in position to make plays. And I say this too, I don't think it's going to change up too much either. I don't think, because if you change up too much and start doing too much, you're going to mess up. I know what Brian said, they're going to come in and make a whole lot of I'm telling you, from experience, the more you keep it simple and work on what you do, make it even more simpler and more efficient, that's how you win. You don't come in saying we're going to do 10 plays, then we'll come in and put on another 10 plays. Now, you come in with what you do, and you eat from the bowl and the plate that brought you there. So I don't expect to see nothing but how they played, so to speak, in the first time, just cleaning it up a little bit.
Right, and that's why I said initially that my whole thought was if Georgia plays Georgia football, they are still one of the best teams in the country. They're just going to have to execute and put themselves in the best position to win. Well, we got to win here with our sponsors. So you guys keep it locked right here. We talk a little bit more football, but in order to do that, you got to come back. We'll be right back with more.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions, or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
Yeah, definitely. You actually can call me directly. I'm actually a sales consultant over there. I specialize in business transactions, but I can help you if you need a vehicle for yourself personally, a family member, or for your business. You can call me directly, 678-410-9833. Be more than happy to help you. We actually do have some vehicles in stock. Unlike a lot of other dealers you go to that have no vehicles, we do have some, not a lot, but we do have some vehicles available. We got new cars, and we have over 100 pre-owned cars as well, of every make and model. So again, check us out. Give me a call, 678-410-9833. I would love to give you a hand if you need an automobile. Let me go and put it up here on the screen right quick so you guys can see it. Shameless plug for me. There goes my number, 678-410-9833. And yeah, you can send an email to Real Talk Sports. I'll answer it and take care of you as best we can. All right, NFL talk. Brian Jones, you covered the Packers for a long time. Is this their year to win the Super Bowl? What could be Aaron Rodgers' last year as a Packer?
So personally, I think this has been a really interesting year in the NFL. I don't know if there's actually been one team that has dominated, but I think the Packers right now are playing the best. For the last 3 seasons, they've won at least 13 games. It's the first NFL team to do that. And the Packers is interesting because they've dealt with their share of injuries. They don't have Zadarius Smith. They don't have Jair Alexander. They could be getting back David Bakhtiari, who's coming back from an injury. But they're still playing a high level. And even Aaron Rodgers is dealing with an injured toe. So they're going to come in. They've already clinched the number 1 seed and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. But They also had the number 1 seed last year and lost to Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Bucks in the NFC Championship game. So it looks like to be their year. It looks like they're doing everything right. Defensively, there has been some issues these last few weeks, but they make enough plays to where they can hold off other teams like the Cowboys or the Bucks or the Rams. So it's going to be an interesting postseason, I think. Before the season, I picked the Rams to win the Super Bowl, and I think they have just as good a chance as anyone. But the Packers are very interesting because I think they're playing their best football now, and I think that's what it comes down to. The January and February football is who's playing the best, who's hot right now, and I think the two teams are playing the best are the Chiefs and the Packers. So if it plays out that way, we could get a State Farm Super Bowl in February in Los Angeles.
And a rematch of Super Bowl is played about 55 years ago. The very first Super Bowl was, in fact, the Kansas City Chiefs against the Green Bay Packers. Tyrone, you looking around the NFL, kind of what team sticks out to you as a team that could be the one to go the entire distance?
Yeah, I want to say this, and then I want to ask Brian about a college question, the transfer portal. But the NFC, when I look at last year's championship game, so to speak, I think that was Green Bay's game. And we go back to that game, and Aaron Rodgers, when have you seen Aaron Rodgers have a wide open run to the end zone, and then he decided to throw the ball across his body? I go all the way back to then. That I have my conspiracy theory thoughts about why the Bucks ended up going to the Super Bowl. COVID might have something to do with it. That's just me talking. But anyways, I think Green Bay has a great inside track. If you look at all the teams that will have to come to Green Bay, the Rams, they are a warm climate team. San Francisco, warm climate team. Tampa Bay, warm climate. Arizona, warm climate. Dallas, warm climate. So when you go up to there playing in January, and believe me, I've been there. It's very, 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 very cold. So you got to have a running game. I'm a firm believer that in the playoffs, you have to be able to run the ball to get to the Super Bowl. And when you get to the Super Bowl, you have to be able to have a balanced attack, run and pass. And I think the winner of the San Francisco 49ers and Tampa Bay Buccaneers game is going to face the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship. Over in the AFC, the Titans, they get Derrick Henry back, man. Derrick Henry, and I've been that player where I've been off the field because of injury, and when I get back on that field, I got so much energy, man. It feel like my legs, somebody just gave me a new pair of legs, and this guy's already tough when he is playing 16 games. So now you get him back, which now the Titans have found out ways to win without him. Now you put that together, we got Derrick Henry back, plus we found out other ways that we can win, and then you got Mike Vrabel, who I think he's a underrated coach. He's very smart, but I think it's Tennessee's chance to win. And if there's a team that's going to upset Tennessee in the AFC, I think we have to come from that Buffalo or New England Patriots game, because those two teams, and Indianapolis, because Indy defensively, they do have the ability to stop the run. The Buffalo Bills had the ability to stop the run. I believe the Patriots had the ability to stop the run. So if you're going to beat Tennessee, you got to stop the run, especially when they get Derrick Henry back. But I think it's going to be Green Bay and Tennessee in the Super Bowl, with everything being equal, barring any injuries.
All right, Todd has a question for you, Brian. He says, do you trust the Packers? And then I want Tree to ask a question as well.
Yeah, it's a very valid question, because if you look at Matt LaFleur has done a great job in Green Bay, but they've come up short these last 3 years, and even going back ever since the Packers won the Super Bowl in 2010, the Packers have come up short. They've lost in the NFC Championship game multiple times for a number of reasons. So the Packers do have their share of questions. I think this is their year, though. I really do believe that because of how they're playing right now. Aaron Rodgers is likely going to win the MVP for the fourth time in his career. Devontae Adams might be the best wide receiver in the NFL. And Aaron Rodgers trusts guys like Allen Lazard and Aaron Jones. And the offensive line, even though They don't have David Bakhtiari right now. They'll get him back soon. They're also very, very solid. And defensively, as I mentioned, they've had their issues, but they're still making plays. Rashawn Gary has played really well. Rasul Douglas, he was with 5 different teams before he came to Green Bay. Eric Stokes, who came from Georgia, has also played well. So you have these players playing well at the right time. And yes, there are some question marks. You know, they've come up short, as I mentioned, in the NFC Championship game over these last few years. But I think they're not really thinking about that. They're thinking about the right now. And I think with them clinching the number 1 overall seed, they're very confident heading into the postseason.
True. What do you think? You think the Packers can go all the way? They're a fellow NFC North team like your Lions, or do you have another team that you like better to maybe go the distance?
Well, we all know that I don't like the Green Bay Packers as far as being a fan, but it doesn't mean that I don't recognize talent. They are definitely a very talented team, and Aaron Rodgers is by far an amazing and phenomenal quarterback. But the team that I'm actually choosing, which I know most people may shake their head and think that I've lost my mind, but I'm actually going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I've noticed that, yeah, they're going through some things right now, but I'm always going to bet on Brady. Tom Brady just comes and finds different ways, and I know that their team is going through a lot, but I think that they're going to come back from this, and I picked them actually going to the Super Bowl and winning it all.
Well, we can't doubt Miss Dolman. She talked about them Buccaneers last time, and they went and did what they had to do. So, yeah, it should be pretty interesting. I mean, any team that has Tom Brady, when you've been to 10 Super Bowls, Tyrone, you play with him. He seems to have a nice synergy with his new head coach, Bruce Arians. So, yeah, I mean, and the guy's a leader. I mean, he does what really great players do. He makes everyone around him better. I mean, the fact that he's on that team, every man on that Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm sure, feels that they're basically not out of any game. As we saw last Sunday, I think they were down by 18 points. And once again, Tom Brady does what Tom Brady does, brought them back to a last-second victory. So do I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I do. But unfortunately, I'm really tired of seeing Tom Brady. I like him. I mean, the guy's the GOAT, but I'm tired. Okay, so I'm looking for Aaron Rodgers, my original team that I used to like when I was a kid, the Green Bay Packers, to go back to the Super Bowl. And I do think it may be, in fact, a State Farm Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, whose defense is playing very, very well right now. Matter of fact, that's the reason why they started winning games. They told Patrick Mahomes, hey, man, just give us an opportunity to make plays, stop slinging the ball all around, backwards, sideways, behind your back, and let us try to play some defense. And consequently, Kansas City's defense has risen to the challenge. So, yeah, I like a State Farm and Green Bay Super Bowl. Look, guys,
here's a question.
We got one more segment to talk about our Falcons. I got to go to a quick break, and then we'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show. But you got to come back. Hang tight.
The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. You grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
All right, guys, we are back here, the Real Talk Sports Show, as we head for our final segment, wrapping up with the NFL. And, of course, pretty soon we'll be talking with our Atlanta Falcons. And before we do that, we're going to bring on our favorite guy. He's the embedded beat writer for AJC Sports to cover the Falcons. He does also the Bowtie Chronicles and lots of other great things. And he is Esquire par excellence. The one and only D. Orlando Ledbetter is back in the building. D. Led, what's going on, sir?
Hey, Reverend, how you doing today? Appreciate you having me on the show again. Got my shades, trying to flow like you tonight.
All right, let's get them all on. Praise the Lord. Okay, now we're doing good. Well, D. Led, hopefully you had a wonderful start of the year, New Year's weekend. Hopefully you enjoyed it with family. I think your daughter was up with the family during the weekend.
Yeah,
always
she
good.
was here for the whole Christmas and New Year's, and then I had to get up to Buffalo on New Year's Day. But yeah, we had a great time, great holiday season. My dad had me ready with a Joseph A. Blank wool coat, and I had a nice little wool suit I've been holding on to take up there. So I was clean and warm.
Now, if you're going to do it, that's how you got to do it. It's all about the presentation. Of course, D-Led is one of the best. You guys need to see him. Check him out. Bowtie Chronicles. He rocks some of the best bow ties around. And every now and then he rocks out the fedora. So you guys need to check it out. All right. Tyrone, I think you had a point or a question before we went to break.
You know what? I think I forgot it.
All right.
I had a question for Brian. I want to ask him quickly about the transfer portal. How big do you think the transfer portal is going to become in college football?
I think it's already become pretty big, and I think, and there's a number of reasons for that. I'll use an example here for Kennesaw State, with it being an FCS school. Bryson Armstrong, a linebacker who played in Cobb County during his high school days, he entered the transfer portal and played at UCF this past season. Now he suffered a torn ACL, but the reason he did that is to help improve his draft status. Now, there were, I would assume, NFL scouts taking notice of him at Kennesaw State, but the level of competition there is a lot different from what it is with UCF's opponents. So that's just one example. But I also think you'll continue to see more and more student athletes, specifically football players, enter the transfer portal. Largely because of coaches continuing to move as well. They probably don't. These players don't like the situation they're at. They want to go in a place where they can play right now. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, transfer portal wasn't a thing, but now that it's become, a more and more common. It's only going to increase each and every year. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens even with this offseason and see who's going to go where. Spencer Rattler is going to South Carolina. There's going to be more and more movement in the next few months, and it's only going to increase year in and year out.
I guess
before we go to Falcons football, go ahead, Tyrone.
Yes or no question. Do you see it like the transfer portal becoming like the NFL free agency? It's like a team based off of who's in the transfer portal, and they're going to go find that person, like NFL free agency.
It could be something like that. I could see it maybe 5 years down the road. And I think also what plays into a factor is the NIL. I think that's going to be something that's going to be interesting to watch. So I don't know if it'll be full blown like NFL free agency as we see right now, because maybe largely because of recruiting, but I think it could be close to that 5 to 10 years down the road.
All right, before we switch to Falcons football, just a quick update regarding the transfer portal. You guys may or may not heard, but former 5-star Oklahoma University quarterback this year who kind of stepped ahead of Mr. Rattler, Caleb Williams, is in the transfer portal, and it says he's eyeing the University of Georgia. Now, you guys all know I've been crying the blues about Georgia not having a mobile quarterback. What would that mean to the Georgia program to have a gentleman like Mr. Williams? D-Led was always shaking his head like this, so you guys already know. All right, let's go ahead and shift over. Falcons football, D-Led, you're up there in the bitter cold at Buffalo. The Falcons looked good for a minute, and then how did you see that game? How competitive was it? It looked like it was pretty good, and what was the keys to the loss at the end of the day?
Yeah, they went up and went for it, went hard until, the talent took over. Buffalo, they had a good game plan. They jumped in a 4-3, threw Josh Allen off his stride, picked him off 3 times, but could only turn those into 10 points. So if they really were going to pull off the upset, they need to score off of all of those turnovers. And so Buffalo just stopped playing around with them and just ran the ball down their throats. He ended up rushing it for 233 yards and, to pull it away with 4 rushing touchdowns. So, the Falcons are just undermanned. They played hard, just like they have it all season. When they play teams of playoff caliber, they lose by double digits. And that's what happened up in Buffalo. Happened, all throughout the season. Tampa Bay twice. Dallas, just go down the list of all the games they lost by New England by double digits. They just don't have enough football players yet. And but they do play tough and play hard for Coach Arthur Smith.
Tree, you have a question for D-Led?
So they have another game. How do you think it's going to pan out?
I want to see. I'll know by Friday. I think that they're the Saints are favored. The Saints have a better. They have an elite unit. They have a defense. The Falcons don't have a defense or an offense, and the Saints don't have an offense. And they got Tyson Hill back there trying to manage stuff. He was 17 of 22 against the Panthers last week. But if I'm playing Tyson Hill, I'm gonna, count on him throwing me a couple balls. But if you get him, you better turn him into points. And the Falcons are, they don't have an offense. I mean, outside of Cordarrelle Patterson, Kyle Pitts not expecting him to play. They're playing mystery hamstring injury with him, and it'd be crazy for them to play him with a hamstring. So all they got on offense is, Cordarrelle Patterson, and that might not be enough even against a tough Saints defense that beat Tom Brady twice this year.
Tyrone, questions for D-Led?
D-Led, what players should the Atlanta Falcons build around in 2022? Because, when it comes towards the end of the season and teams know they're not going anywhere, most coaches start to put players in there just to get a look at them, those that may not have gotten an opportunity during the season because they're trying to build for 2022. What players do you think the Falcons must build around if they are to get to what we're talking about, the playoffs or the Super Bowl again?
Well, I'll start on defense. I'm keeping Grady. Everybody else can go on the defensive line. Probably can't do the whole line in 1 year, but the only one that's a keeper is Grady. Keeping both of the linebackers, you got to re-sign Foye Oluokun. Got to figure out how to keep Mikael Walker. I'm going to keep the rookies, Graham and Ogundeji, although I was expecting more from him. He's got a lot of snaps and hasn't done a lot. So the secondary, I'm keeping Terrell and Jalen Hawkins. And Richie Grant, he's going to have to learn how to play that strong safety. Then you got to go find a couple more cornerbacks. I don't know if Darren Hall's doing okay or not. I haven't seen him exposed. So maybe he can play. But, yeah, you got to keep some people over there. You got to grow on that side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, only 2 people on the line I'm keeping are Lindstrom and Matthews. I don't know. Maybe Hennessy can make a year 2 to year 3 jump. We'll see. The rookies played a lot, 1,000 snaps for Jalen Mayfield. So I might not. I don't want to throw him away right away. So, but the line has got to improve. You can't have your backs getting hit in the backfield on every single play. You can't have a quarterback getting sacked 37 times, hit 87 times, the most in the league. So you don't have a number 1 receiver. Gage has been a decent slot receiver, so I can keep him in the slot. But, they just don't have a lot of top line football players that go make plays and win some of these games.
Now, with the biggest position on an NFL team that I think if you're going to try to win a championship has to be a quarterback position. Matt Ryan is still capable mentally, I believe, to help, mentor and squeak out some wins here and there, mentor another player coming in. With his era coming to an end, how do you think the Falcons will use him going forward?
Yeah, I'm keeping Matt, and I'm bringing on the heir apparent. I don't think you get him this year because the draft is not very good for the college quarterback. So match your quarterback for 2023, 2022, and then I'm looking in the draft 2023 for his heir apparent, and then I'm not gonna play him until he's ready to play. You know, we saw this year where Justin Fields shouldn't have been playing. You know, we saw where Trey Lance shouldn't have been playing. They're taking their time to develop them. They want to develop the next guy like Kansas City did, Patrick Mahomes. So Matt Ryan's your quarterback for the next 2 years, and to see his contract run out, and they might even have an extension in there. Now, that's my understanding the way they want to do this. So all the fans screaming for, Matt Ryan to go. I mean, that's the one player you got to build around to transition to the new guy. So, I don't know why everybody was trying to run Matt Ryan out of town when, they have a whole lot more other problems to deal with.
That's just the fans. Brian, your thoughts real quick as we wrap it up about the Falcons, or any questions for D-Led?
I actually do have a question. I think you mentioned the wide receivers a little bit. Have you heard anything from Calvin Ridley? First things first, I hope he's still doing okay. But when it comes to him, and it comes to him in 2022, what did the Falcons know about him? Do they have any updates, or has it just been radio silent?
Yeah, they for the record, there are no updates, but you can there's no updates from the Falcons or from Pat Dye, his agent. But you could surmise that they went to him at some points like, hey, we really we're with you and supporting you, but we really would like to know if you could make it back. They got a lot of money sitting on the table for next year for him, and so I don't know what hopefully everything that went wrong with his mental health, they can get it squared away, and then talk about, okay, do you need to be here, do you need to go, or are you going to be a part of this, or is it best for you to not play football anymore, because of your situation. So yeah, they're at a crossroads where they got to get him healthy first, get him in the right frame of mind, then y'all could decide on whether this marriage needs to move forward, and the simple thing is going to be, hey, are we better together or apart? And so we'll see how that works out here in the future.
Well, Ty, we won't be able to squeeze that question. I did pop it up on the screen because we got to go. We are now going to, I like to call it my post-football season. We are now off at the 9 o'clock hour. So you know how we do it. We like to go around the room to make sure everybody knows how they can find out more about you. First, Mr. Brian Jones, the floor is yours.
Oh, I appreciate it. I am the trending sports and entertainment writer for popculture.com. You can find my work at popculture.com and popculture.com/sports. I have a lot of great stuff up there now. Recently, I interviewed Deion Sanders. So if you haven't seen that, you can go to popculture.com. We also have a YouTube page. Just type in pop culture. You can find it there. So again, popculture.com, popculture.com/sports. You can follow me on Twitter. That is at Brian Jones _93. And I'm bringing back the podcast. I've had it off for the last couple of months. That's called Always Football Season. You can find out wherever you get your podcast. I also have a Facebook page for that, which is facebook.com/Always Football Season. And you can find me on Instagram, as you can see on the screen, which is at Brian _L_Jones.
Brian, as always, we appreciate you, kind sir. Happy New Year. Look forward to having you back on again.
Appreciate it. Happy New Year.
All right. D. Orlando Ledbetter, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Reverend. You can find me on Twitter at DOrlandoAJC, AJC.com, the Bowtie Chronicles podcast, the Cover 9 at 9 blog every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Thanks for having me.
As you can see, gentlemen and ladies, we have the purple and gold because D. Orlando Ledbetter is part of that fraternity called Omega.
First of the year,
D-Led. We had to do it. D-Led, thank you, sir. God bless. We'll have you on again. Mr. Tyrone Poole, the floor is yours.
Tyrone Poole 38, all social media. Thank you for having me. Enjoyed it. You guys have a great rest of your evening.
We got him right on time, too. Popped it right in. Yes, sir. All right. God bless. All right. Miss Latresa Tree Dolman, the queen, the floor is yours. My head got too big in the screen. Sorry about that.
Hello, everyone. You can find me on all social media at It's Latresa, as well as Ms. America International 2021. Happy New Year to everyone, and thank you so much for watching.
And it is 2021, guys. But the main thing, you can see, follow the other one. It's Latresa. You can follow right there. See that? All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right, guys. It's a little me, the preacher, back in the building. Hey, we appreciate all those of you who watch us here on this broadcast. Again, you can follow us on social media. At Real Talk Sports, the number 7, or you can follow me personally at Minister J. Sim. If you need to reach me, email jsimmons@realtalksports.net or give me a call, 678-410-9833. Look, guys, a lot of things are going on here, so I'm going to encourage you, as I always do. If you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, your personal Savior, please, ma'am, please, sir, get to know him today. Why? Because nobody loves you like Jesus, not nobody, and nobody paid the ultimate penalty to die for all your sins. If you believe in him and confess him, guess what? 2 things happen. You become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven, and you become an adopted child of God, and you have all the rights therein. You can go to God, ask him for anything that you need or desire in prayer, and according to his will, he'll give it to you. And you also get to go to a happy place called heaven when you die and avoid that nasty place called hell. I don't know about you, but I like option number 1 instead of option number 2. All right, guys, again, we thank you so much. And until the next time, God bless you, and have a great, great night. So long.